You want these 144,000 people to kick in. And what is going to be one of the best ways to find them and make them active? And that is the fact that if we have 108, the same amount that's on ancient mala prayer beads, of which all prayer beads, by the way, came from on the planet, can change a whole county, can help that whole county go into 4D immediately. And I'll tell you for sure right now, the moment that we hit 17th century, there was a pull and tug on 4D to 3D with the planet and everybody on there. You just need to know, since 17th century and 321 years later, every day you go outside, we vibrate more 4D than 3D. So one of the things that the practice of Tai Chi Gong does, it only takes 20, 30 minutes a day. One of the most basic things that it actually does is it helps you ground that energy, just like a tree that has roots grounds its energy. Do you ever wonder, you've heard this before, the healthier the roots of the tree, the healthier the tree. Well, it's no different in a human being than it is in a tree. And you're going to tell me, when all the spiritual holy men and holy women that's walked the planet have told us that humans are supposed to have dominion over everything else on the planet. Well, obviously we're supposed to, but with the average person living to 70, 80 years today, we're not really showing that. But you have the keys now. The whole reason the Lama wrote his first book, Circle of Life, is within that book and within the 45-day challenge is the keys to making you grounded and focused. So as this energy bombards you on the planet, on your spirit, mind, and body, you can deal with it. You can digest it. You understand? You can assimilate it. In other words, you don't want to resist this energy. This is not like electronic 5G and it's going to buy. This is the Father's Holy Spirit. He is putting us into ascension mode. My thing to you is, do you understand a lightning rod? And do you understand what happens to a lightning rod when it hits it? If some of you are old enough to remember electrical transformers on the telephone poles, what would happen to them when they got hit by lightning, right? See, some people, they're like those transformers, or they're like an ungrounded lightning rod. And that's part of the reasons why we're hearing about people in their 20s getting hit with a stroke or having a heart attack when they had no past of having health problems. How, you're wondering, how in the world is these things happening? Well, the Holy Spirit says, I'm no reflector of person. My job is to do what God the Father tells me to do. So when God the Father says, I'm going to outpour myself, that's what I'm going to do. The issue about the Holy Spirit is this. Imagine when that wave hits you, and imagine it wraps around your energy body, and everywhere it hits your energy body, imagine the inside of it is like a reflective mirror. Now, what are you mirroring? In other words, what's in your soul, what's in your heart, what's in your mind? You know, if you're doing stinking thinking, you know, one of the most basic concepts of feng shui is one of the most basic self-defense techniques that we do in feng shui is in the inner door of your house, condo, or apartment or office, in that foyer, you place a mirror that is aimed at the front door. Why? Because if somebody comes to your front door, the energy they're projecting before they even ring the doorbell or come in is going to do what? It's going to bounce right off that mirror. So if their intention is aggression, they might rethink trying to come through that door if that aggression is now bombarding and bouncing right back at them. See, this is what the Holy Spirit is doing to every human being on the planet right now. And guess what? Every day it intensifies. What do I mean by that? That quality of that mirror gets a little bit more pure. So you can't hide from God. It's his spirit. He knows what's in your heart. So the real judgment that's going on is in all of us. And the way to change that is prayer, meditation, contemplation, breathe energy, and do it regularly. And like Jimmy says, in retrograde cycles, when we call it the yin cycles, do it more. Right now, we're more you can start feeling because we've gotten beyond the peak of retrograde. It's a little easier to move forward. Now's when you should be moving. Look at the weather. Are you out walking every day? Are you getting some vitamin D? Are you doing these things? God set, you have to understand, God not only created us, he created nature to support us. But if you're having nothing to do with nature, if you're not spending 15, 30 minutes a day in nature, you're like telling God, you don't need that. Well, why would you tell God something so foolish when he created it for you? So it's time for us to wake up. We get in alignment with the divine first based on prayer. Then, as we know he's talking to us, we do a smarter thing. We begin to listen to him. That's called meditation.
Yes.
Then when he gives us our walking papers, the passion that he has put in our hearts that we came to do, the next thing we do is the highest form of communication with the divine. And this is an active moment, real active. And that's called contemplation. And what does that really mean? I become, or I image in. So if God the Father in meditation spoke to you about what he wants you to do, the first thing then he wants you to start to do is image in creation what he has told you to do. Column exercise. Write it down. What you measure will multiply. He's getting you ready. Now, we're in the yang cycle for the next 6 weeks. You're supposed to be getting her done. You're supposed to be praying and walking and breathing and doing your Tai Chi Gong, doing your yoga, doing your morning walks, your meditations, and put that business that you wrote down in the yin cycle, retrograde, you're supposed to be putting boots to the ground now. For the next 4 to 6 weeks, you better get her done. Because like Jimmy says, come early December, you spiritually minded people, you people that's been working on yourself 10 years or more, you're going to know it's coming early. And right when you feel like, oh my God, here comes the winter solstice on the 21st and 22nd, right before Christmas, and you're going to think you're out of it. And then lo and behold, the first retrograde is early January, and they overlap. In the Lamasery, we call that a double yin. And you might say, what is a double yin? Well, it's a double retrograde. It's the biggest retrograde of the year. And you think full moons for 72 hours are big? How about a full moon that lasts 21 to 28 days? How will you process a full moon that lasts 21 to 28 days, because that's what double yin is.